Good. Yeah.
You know what? Jimmy's got some amazing friends. Amazing people in this church, man. I'm telling you. He talks about you guys all the time. I can't tell him what you said. Anyway, I just want to thank you for all the influence that you've had in his life. I know he's had influence in your lives too. One of the things I want to say about Jimmy, he's our youngest child, and he came 12 years after the third daughter. So he was kind of a surprise, and he's been just a great son, and he has done things above board and so many good things that I wish I hadn't had the ups and downs in my life. And I'm reminded of when he was about 3 or 4 years old, what we used to do is we would go to Huntington Beach when we lived in California. And I would strap him in the baby carrier around my waist, and we would go out there in the waves, and I'm not just the white water on the beach. We would go out there, and I would say, okay, Jimmy, there's a big wave coming. We're gonna go under it. Just hold your breath. I'd blow in his face. He'd take a big breath, and we'd go under it, and we'd come up on the top of the other side, and he'd go, oh! Dad, let's do that again. Cindy's on the beach freaking out. Because I got the baby out there with me, and we would just stay out there for a while and then come back in. But that's the way kind of life is. And Jimmy has come through a lot of waves, and he has risen to the top all the time, and we are so proud of him, and we are so excited about his choice in Shelby. And I told Jimmy jokingly that if you lose her, you're out of the family. But remember that? It still stands. Anyway, but Cindy and I have had conversations before, and we've been able to say that Jimmy could not have picked a better person than Shelby. We are so excited about her becoming part of our family, and us becoming part of your family. So just wanted to throw a few things out there with Jimmy, and we just love the guy so much, and we're just so happy for him, and tomorrow's going to be a great day. So God bless you guys.
Well, I ditto what Dana says about all of you and the great influence that you've been in Jimmy's life and have blessed him so much. And, when he was little, as Dana said, he came along quite a ways after our other children. It was a different, look at life, when he came along. And just a few years after he was born, he was an only child at home. And, Dana did the best thing when people would say, sometimes even in church, oh, we're glad it's you and not us. Dana goes, well, we're glad it's us. And we were, because we knew that he was going to be a blessing in our life. And he has always been that way. When he was little, I was afraid that he would know who his mother was because he had 3 older sisters. But he did. And I remember he did, his first kind of playing around with some boys down the street. And he was so excited playing with other boys. They were, riding little scooters. And he said to the little boy, I love you. And other moms go, did he say I love you? I go, he hears it all the time. That's what he knows. And so when we have devotions at night, pray and read the word, and on occasions I would turn around and say, you're going to be a great God. You're going to be a great man of God. And God truly has brought that forth. He is a great man of God and follows him with his whole heart. And he always wanted to be a police officer. From the time he was very little, he was going to be a policeman, and that's everything he sought after. I tried to move him toward engineering. I put him in engineering classes. And he would say, Mom, I don't want to be an engineer. I would be a cop. That's boring. But we were walking into church one day, because I'm always about, a little career planning. And they said, well, Jimmy, you better have a backup plan. He says, well, I guess I could be a pastor. And so just those small things that have come along, that how God has moved in his life and used him so much and blessed our whole family. So, and again, we're just really blessed to be here with Shelby and Jimmy. And I thought, you know, God has to bring somebody that loves the Lord and wants to serve God alongside with him. And for Shelby, that is such a blessing to see that with you, and you love your family. So, there's so many blessings that I just can't even express, that we're so happy about this marriage.
August of 2014, we brought Shelby here and got her set up in a dorm, and that was probably one of the hardest days of our life.
It just dried up, honey.
I'm dropping off my baby girl, you know, and I'm not there to watch over her. That was really hard. She cried all the way home, 4 hours to Vegas.
I didn't talk to anybody. Don't even talk to me.
I cried all the way to a month's part. Sorry.
So, later that year, she finds New Life Ministry. She finds the church. And she finds a community. She finds friends and a family. And over the years, still, she was in a good environment now, and that was such a comfort for us, because we were so far away. But there was still turmoil in her life, because there was always this constant moving around, because they had to change locations, and roommates would change, and there was always something going on. But then one year, Shelby says, I'm moving in with Mike and Dacia. So Mike and Dacia opened their house to her daughter. And you don't know how that made me feel. All those worries that I had, of what's going on with my daughter in Flagstaff, what's new, and the things that had always bothered me, they were gone. You welcomed our daughter into your home. She gained a second family, brothers and sisters. Sorry, this is harder than I thought it was going to be. And now she has, that led her to Jimmy, and I have to be honest. We met Jimmy a long time ago, and we knew Jimmy liked Shelby. You could tell. He was giving us way too much attention. He was already laying the foundation. And so I wanted to finish this one thought. I just want to say, Mike and Sia, thank you so much. From parents, for taking care of our daughter. You don't know how much it means to me. So thank you.
I just dried up again.
I'm sorry. Anyway, getting back to Jimmy, we were so impressed. I've got to go into this. I can't wait till tomorrow. Shelby, a little girl, there's so many things that I remember about her as a little girl. She was 13 months old, and we're traveling, and we're in a hotel room. Nicole and I are hitting the sack. Shelby's in her crib, and we go to bed, and Shelby's just talking. She's just chatting. You can't understand what she's saying, but she's just talking, and she goes on, and I'm, we're both tired. It's been a long day, but I could not.
I had a different version of this.
I was I was enjoying it so much. Just to hear my daughter talk like that, and I wish I'd had a recording. She's 3 years old now, and Michael's 6 months, and the kids have been fed and bathed, and it's movie night at the Newbecks. And I've got Michael on my lap, Nicole and I are cuddling, and we put in Lion King. Our daughter is singing the theme song to Lion King, and it was just so moving to hear her. And she would follow the fluctuations of the song, you know, and it was it was just such a fun memory of her. She's had a few babysitters along the way. Those that have survived to tell us, they talk about Pistol, Crouching Tiger, Raging Bull, Guns N' Roses, Jack Black, Panda. I think you know where I'm going with this. They had a lot of experiences with our young Shelby. But Shelby has grown into a fine woman. When she comes home, she lights up the place. It's party time when Shelby shows up. It's games, it's chaos in the kitchen, it's movie night, it's all kinds of things, and we miss that about being near her. But I'll tell you what, she is fearless. She is fearlessly loyal, dedicated, and protective of those who she cares for and who she loves. And your mom and I are so proud of the woman that you've become. And to Jimmy, you know, we've gotten to know Jimmy through, he stayed with us for Thanksgiving. He spent a week with us for Christmas. And so we got to see a lot of good things about Jimmy, and it was, we learned that he's patient, he's stable, he's resilient, and at least one of you guys are. But my experience as a young man growing up, my mom, she did all the cooking, she did all the cleaning, and my dad would plop himself in the recliner in front of the TV and bark out orders, you know. And as I got older, that pissed me off.
Praise God.
So we just got done, the gals got done making a great meal, and not 5 minutes after it was done, there's Jimmy in the kitchen cleaning. And I'm going, that won me over. So I got up and joined in, and it was just, I think it's just a blessing. What won her over is we're all piling in a car one day.
Oh, I love this one.
And Michael and Shelby and Jimmy are trying to get in the same door, and she turns to Jimmy and says, "Not here, pumpkin, the other side." And so Jimmy dutifully runs around the other side, gets in the car, and she goes, "Are you going to let her talk to you that way?"
I was curious how he was going to handle it because she's got a strong personality. And I said, "So how do you feel about her talking to you that way?" And he said, "Honestly, all I heard was pumpkin."
You know, as a couple, I think they have so much going for themselves. They've got God, they have family, they have friends, sport group, you know. They love game nights, they love movies, they love cooking, and they're just so full of life. And it means so much to us to have you all here, you know, to share this. And it says a lot about what you think of them. And so we just may God bless you guys. May God give you happiness and health and children and laughter and love. Look.
Say, one of my first memories of Shelby that I cherish. So Greg and I were a little worried because one of her older cousins, she had a younger brother, and he has a memory of the reunion. They go to take the picture, and right before they take the picture, she slugs him. And he's crying, and she's smiling. And so he comes home, and he goes, I'm really worried what it's going to be like with the second sibling. They're going to be jealous. And so I was expecting it was going to be, I was waiting for her to start lashing out. And she's always been independent, always done her own thing. And so Michael wasn't sleeping in the bed, but he was a newborn, and he was starting to get more attention. And I remember her running down. She never wanted to sleep with us before, but she would run down the hallway, and you could hear the little whoosh, 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 in the diaper. And she would try to get in bed, and we argue over whose side we'd let her on, because I thought it was me, he thinks it was me. And whoever it was, we would say, no, you gotta go back to bed. And you could just hear the slow, just like a walk of death. But the other thing was, I wasn't this typical maternal parent, I would always tell them, unless you're bleeding or on fire, don't interrupt me on the phone. And so she would believe a lot of the stuff I would say, and we would be in Walmart, and if Michael wasn't listening, I would say, that's it, I'm leaving, are y'all coming? And I would turn around and walk away, trying to see if they would follow me. And I would hear her, Michael, she's serious. So she would make sure that he wasn't left behind. And I've been crying all day, and it all comes back to God is faithful. He's answered all our prayers. Jimmy, you're everything we prayed for, and God is faithful, and I'm so thankful. So get ready.
That's sure a little bit. So when Jimmy asked me to be his best man, I thought to myself, man, if I'm Jimmy's best man, then you're in some real trouble. But no, all jokes aside, I look at all the groomsmen. You've got some really awesome guys that I know you've made a serious impact in all of our lives. And I mean, I can say for sure, if 4 years ago, if you didn't stop to share the gospel with me on campus when I was a freshman, then I wouldn't be here. So thank you for that. And then it's been an honor being your roommate these past few years. And I know that my experience living in that house would have been completely different if you weren't there. You were really, the glue that held us together and got us all on the right foot. But about a year ago, about a year before Jimmy and Shelby started dating, I was talking to Jimmy about some stuff that I was dealing with. I was having a rough time, not just understanding, a little bit of my calling. And like so many conversations I've had with Jimmy before, I go to him and say, dude, I don't know what's going on. I'm so frustrated right now. Like, just tell me, like, what is happening? He's always willing to listen and be a friend first, before obviously saying how dumb I'm being. But during this conversation, he listened to me, even though I was wrong. And he was able to offer some of the best advice after, because he's a good listener. He's able to discern what the person's really dealing with, and then point out to them, hey, this is how you can get back on the right step. And the conversation turned to marriage, and he told me how he was sure that he's following the call of God on his life, and that he knew who he was going to marry, and now to see that promise come true, I know it's a testimony to me. It's a testimony to a lot of other people here that God is faithful, and he promised you something, and you didn't give it up, even no matter what the circumstances looked like. But that's classic Jimmy. He'll be there as a friend to help you open up about what you're thinking, and then come in as a minister to make sure you're on the right track. And he's done that countless times for me. for hundreds of others. And I know that you've got an amazing future ahead of you, leading more students to the Lord, helping them hear the call on their lives too. And I don't want to share too much now. I've got a big speech tomorrow. I don't want to go through all my stuff, or I'll just be shooting from the hip. And no one wants that. But congrats to Jimmy and Shelby, and I can't wait to see you two move forward together in life. Yeah.
Awesome. Of honor. I've known Shelby as my best friend for 4 years, and I'm just really honored that I get to stand with you, next to you on your wedding day. And I remember, I think like the first time that I realized that you existed, like you were coming back from Costa Rica, and I saw you and I was like, wow, I really wish that I could be like her one day. And we turned out pretty different, but Shelby did teach me like a lot about like how to be mature and just how to like do things in excellence, because you really just want to be excellent in everything that you do, and that's really just taught me a lot. And wait, let's scroll down. And I was thinking about like what I wanted to say, and it just kept running through my mind that like I just like am greatly delighted in you. And I looked that up in the Bible. There's a Bible verse about that. It's the second half of 1 Samuel 19:1. Jonathan, Saul's son, greatly delighted in David. And so it just really reminded me of you and me, and yeah, and the amazing thing is that Jimmy greatly delights in you also, Shelby, which is really wonderful. And I think I've told you this before, but that, like, if you had the time and the energy, like, you'd be friends with everybody in the world. And so I'm really honored that, like, I have the opportunity to be your best friend and stand next to you on your wedding day. And then I just have one final verse. Now then, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be my own possession among all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. Exodus 19:5. And I think that you really kept your covenant with the Lord. And now the Lord is really blessing you by bringing you guys together. So I'm just really honored to be here.
Hey!
Yes, it will.
Yes. Well, tough one to follow it. Let's see. Well, I first met Shelby in her NAU campus Bible study, where I got to come to the Bible study to share what Jesus had done in my life, and just the things leading up. So like the life that I had lived before, I prayed to give my whole life to Jesus, and how I made that decision and what my life was looking like after. And I just remember being in that Bible study and sharing with you, I was like, man, I really like this girl. Obviously we all know, Shelby asks the questions. She, wants to know the details of things. And so just the questions that you asked, I was like, man, like she really wants to know, and she really wants to get this right. And you did. That was awesome. But I remember thinking, man, I really want this girl to be my friend. I really hope she really wants to pursue the Lord and to follow Him and to pursue the call that He has on her life. And you did. And so it's been really great. And so that whole time period was awesome, just watching you grow in the Lord. And then she heard from the Lord to be a campus minister with New Life Christian Church. And so once you raised your support, you're on campus, and I got to train you. And that was a ton of fun. And then not long after, about a year after, I had our daughter, and so then I wasn't on campus as much, and I just really missed you. It's like, what's Shelby doing? I miss Shelby. What's happening on campus? I gotta call her and hear what's going on. And as we all know, like, you are just so easy to be around. you're so much fun to be around, like you're talking about, like Shelby brings the party, she does. And it's because you care about the details and things, but also you just care about people. Like you want to know the right thing, but you care about a person's heart, and you want to know what another person's thinking and what their favorite thing is. And even when, like, you know, you're like planning a wedding and like your wedding's in 3 days and you're super busy, you still remember different details and you're like, oh yeah, how was that? How was this? Like I remember you had this coming up. And it's very impressive how you just care so much about, you do all the things that you need to do, but you care about other people. And just a really great quality. And, you know, Jimmy, I'm talking about Shelby, but you have many great qualities. And so it's just, I'm really excited for you guys to get married, and both of your guys' best qualities are gonna just keep growing. So I'm really excited for that. And who hasn't been waiting to be able to say Shelby Shaw?
Christian, just like Owen, I was one of Jimmy's roommates. I met him about 5 years ago, 2019, when I first came to our church. And when I was first coming in, I was struggling to really find like a place. Like I felt like I didn't belong, like I didn't have a lot of friends. I just wasn't clicking with people. And so I remember praying to God that I would just, you know, that I would make friends and that I would find someone to introduce me to people. And Jimmy was kind of that person for me. He was part of that answer. And he just showed me around, and he was always so patient with me. And something right off the bat, I realized that when I moved in with him in 2021, I realized that, you know, he's a man of service. He's such a servant. I remember all the other roommates were just working so much, and he would just be taking care of the house and picking up on all the chores we left him, and just doing everything for us basically. But yeah, not only service, but you know, he helped me with all my struggles. He was such a good listener, except for when he was on the couch watching TikTok. Yeah, in all seriousness, he was a really good listener. Every time I had a problem, it would usually be late at night. I'd be like, man, like struggling with this. Like, what do you think? I remember I was struggling with like hearing with faith. I had no idea what that was or how to do that. And I was like, I feel like God is calling me into ministry, but I'm not sure. And Jimmy was the first person I came to. And he shared his testimony with me about how God told him to go to ministry. And it really moved me. And then I made the decision to join our team and later on. But anyways, I remember another one of those late night talks. We were driving just here on the 180. We were turning into Cheshire. And then it was silent the whole ride up until we turned the corner and Jimmy's like, man, I just really want to get married. I can't relate, but anyways, he was like, yeah, I think I'm just ready, man. Like, I feel like I'm just ready. I'm at that stage of my life. And this was like maybe even like a month before they started dating. And so I was thinking in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about how he's been such a servant to me, how he's accepted me as a brother, how he's been one of my best friends for the longest time. And so I was like, yeah, I think you're ready, and I think you make like a great husband, and I think you're going to be a great husband for Shelby. Awesome.
Shelby, stop. Okay, I was trying to think of what I was going to say, and all I could think about was how many times, oh my God, I had just been so upset about anything. Whether it was like a real reason to be upset, or like it was my own doing, like I was an idiot. And I would just go to Shelby, and she would just listen the whole time. And then she'd share parts of her testimony that she thought related to it, and then she'd share verses. And then no matter what the situation was about, whether it was actually something that I should have been upset about, or it was something that I need to repent for, or change, Shelby would just give me a hug every time. And she would just tell me that everything was going to be okay. And I thought that spoke to her character a lot. And I know you remember this, Shelby, but when in 2020, when you were staying at our house, you had to go back to your roommates. And me and my two sisters, we just started crying and we're like, no, you can't leave us. And then we're crying the whole day. We weren't like upset with Shelby, but we were really upset. We were singing sad songs for her. Emotional. And then we're like, just jump on the trampoline with us one last time. And so we did, and we were laying there, and she was like, I don't want to go. And they're like, well, then just don't. And obviously, she went back to her roommates. But I was just thinking, I was like, that's not how I feel now. Because Jimmy treats Shelby so well. And just like the Bible says, like, that like an excellent wife, she's like, her worth is far above jewels. And like, I know Shelby's a friend, like she's excellent and her worth is so high. And Jimmy treats her like that. And that is just really special. And I'm just really excited to see you guys get married. And you two, I've been third wheeling a bit. A couple months, and I can say that I've had the best time ever. I do not feel like the odd one out. Like, you guys have just been such good friends to me. And you both, everyone here can say this as well, that you guys are shepherds and you care for everyone. You care about their heart condition, you care on where they're at, and you really will pour out your whole life until you see them continue and you see them do well. And it's because you guys hold your life up to the Word of God, you study the Word of God, and you have it written on your hearts. And anything that doesn't line up with the Word of God, you change. And I know that's just is going to bring so much blessing into your guys' lives. You guys aren't just going to be filled up so you can be poured out, but you guys are going to be filled up so you just keep overflowing. And I'm going to give you pretty good things. But I'm really excited to see you guys get married and have a family. Well, Shaw baby. Okay.
Oh, Jimmy. I think I'm not afraid of talking while I cry. What a joy it's been, man. I've known both of you since you first started coming around, shortly after I came back. And just seeing you guys grow is, I wish I had the time and ability to express how much that was and to share all those testimonies, both of you, so much. Seeing how much you've matured in God and the number of times, Jimmy especially, that we've been roommates, where you've shared testimonies that have spoken to me like crazy, where I come to you with some random thoughts and you give me some great perspective and just the ability to open up with you. I really do feel like I don't even, like, it was close to best friend status. Like, the second I figured out your name, like, hi, I'm Jimmy. Oh, you're not your best friend. Your ability to listen and just care for people has been a real light. It really has. And being a roommate with you for as long as I was, it's been some of the best times, man. It really has. Shelby, also you. Watching you get more sanctified. Lord. In all seriousness, though, the past year or two, the number of times that we've been talking about different things, different scriptures, different moments and testimonies, and you say something that just catches me out of left field, and I'm like, whoa, I'm going to have to meditate on that for a while. The amount of joy in you guys, I mean this jokingly and lovingly, of course. One of the thoughts I had when it was first hearing that you guys were dating was like, oh, cool. Shelby will keep Jimmy in check. No, wait, hold on. Jimmy keep Shelby. They'll keep each other in check. Their level of joy and fun for life is equal and high. And it's a great thing. I really pray to God just lets that overflow into your family as you move forward. And it's been a real honor and pleasure.
Thanks, man.
have the right things to say, and it was really hard because I care about you both so much. And Shelby used to call us the triplets because we started college together. We joined the church around the same time. We graduated together, heard to go on staff around the same time. Went support raising together, and within like 3 months, we all like finished raising our support and like started fulfilling the call of God in our life and getting to reach out to young men and young women on campus. And I'm so thankful for you both because we grew up together, we got to see each other at our worst and our best. And you guys just mean so much to me. And so I was trying to think of stories to share about Shelby, and there's just too many. 9 years is too many. So I came up with 4 things I love about Shelby. The first one is she eats whatever she wants for breakfast. It doesn't matter what kind of food it is. When we lived together, there were so many times I'd walk in the kitchen and it's like 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and she's making chicken Alfredo or And so Shelby's willing to challenge what's normal if there's not a good reason for it. Number 2 is Shelby's all creativity and ideas, thoughts and notions to my data and numbers. 6. Shell knows how to make things fun. Our freshman year, the bacon dance party was her idea. I was a little skeptical of the bacon-themed dance party. Even the desserts had bacon in it. But it was so much fun, and everyone had such a good time. And so Shelby knows how to make anything fun and what people love. Number 3 is Shelby loves cards and handwritten notes. She gives the best cards that make you cry, and the card is her favorite part of every present. And number 4 is Shelby loves Jesus and his kingdom. She loves the truth, she cares about what's right, and having a clean conscience. I love spending time with Shelby. She encourages me to see things from a different perspective. She's such a great minister because of her love for people and her love for Jesus. I love you.
Well, I just wanted to share a few things, although a lot of what everyone has said is a lot of what I was going to share for sure. But yeah, so I first met Shelby when I moved here from New Mexico back in 2015. And she was actually one of the first people that came up to me, I think, to just make me feel welcome. And she told me she liked my eyeliner. And that has stuck with me. And then we became friends super fast, and it felt like right away, it felt like I had been friends with Shelby for so many years. And I think she just definitely has that effect on pretty much everyone. I feel like 10 minutes with Shelby, and it kind of feels like you've always known her, and that she's your best friend. And so, yeah, Shelby, you just made this time, being a part of our church, being in the kingdom of God, you've just really shown me, like everyone says, you bring the life to the party. And any gathering we were having, I just was always hoping you were there and that we would have so much fun together. And so, yeah, I feel like you really demonstrated to me what life in the kingdom of God is like, and how to have fun, and how to make people feel really special. I feel like when you talk to someone, no matter who it is, you sort of make them feel like they're the only person in the world. And so, yeah, just with the questions you ask, how caring you are, anytime I get to spend with you, I really cherish it. And I feel like I could probably talk to you about just about anything. And so, yeah, I really value that in your friendship. I remember years ago, I think we were just dreaming about getting married one day. And I'm pretty sure we told each other we'd be in each other's weddings. And so Shelby was a bridesmaid in my wedding, and so I'm so honored to get to be a bridesmaid in your wedding, and I'm so excited. It's so fitting seeing you guys come together. When I first heard, about Jimmy, I was super excited because I could already see that for sure. And you guys have such different strengths, but I can definitely see how you guys complement each other so well, and you'll just draw from the strengths, and it's just really going to enhance both of your lives. And so, Shelby, you're so unique and creative with how you explain the Bible to people. I feel like just getting to watch you in Bible studies or getting to hear you speak in covenant group, it's always I always learn something, and I'm oh yeah, what a great way to explain that. So great. And then just making people feel special and having fun. And then Jimmy, you people have already said it, but you definitely serve with your whole heart and you really put your all into things. And you're super kind and thoughtful, and I think that's just gonna be a huge blessing to Shelby. And so I'm super thankful that Eliana gets to grow up around people like you in her life, and I'm so excited that she'll have examples like you that she's growing up seeing. And so I know that this time in your life is just really going to exceed all of your expectations, and so I just wanted to share this verse. It's Ephesians 3:20. It says, "Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly beyond all that we ask or think, according to the power that works within us."
Great. I just want to add to that. My earliest interactions with each one of you individually actually happened on a sports field. Shelby, we clashed at midfield on a soccer field. I think you were playing with intramurals with some frat guys, and I was playing with the Catholic Jacks. Both of us were kind of out of place, but we both went to church together, but didn't really know each other quite yet. And I just knew early on you had a fighting spirit, so it became quickly apparent. And Jimmy, one of my first interactions with you was when our church did flag football on Saturdays, and I think that may have been one of your first times kind of even just hanging out and stuff too. So you just seemed so happy to be there. When one guy even busted his eyebrow open, and you were like, "Hey, I'm an EMT." It's like just helping stop the bleeding and stuff. And so that was kind of cool to see. I was like, "Oh, this is a good guy to have on our side," And Jimmy, I just wanted to highlight some of your character that's really stood out to me and has made a big impact. You're definitely a guy that you can count on. You're dependable. A story I just wanted to tell. Gary, this includes you. When you get a call from Gary, you know you got some hard work ahead of you. Gary called Jimmy and I independently, and we didn't know each other were going to be there, but we both showed up to the backyard here, and we're like, well, we're in for it. Here we go. So, turns out it involved a two-man auger and a 90-pound cement breaker, basically. And so we're going to build a deck with some fence posts, and it's some of the largest rocks I've ever seen. We're trying to dig through. One guy's on the throttle, the other guy's just along for the ride. It's hurting us, but we're not going to give up, And we get down there with this rock breaker, and it blows air out, it's air powered, but we're in a hole, and so we're covered in dirt. That's the closest I've ever looked at Jimmy, because I was all sweaty, I had this dirt mustache. And I was like, well, I'm not going to complain unless Jimmy complains. Neither of us complained. So it just showed to me, I was like, if there's anybody that I'm going to be in the dirt trenches with, it's going to be Jimmy, because we're just going to get the job done, and it's going to happen. And so you guys are both just so considerate. Shelby, when you come over to our house, we ask people to take their shoes off. You wear these cool little socks and stuff, just to be comfortable, but also, And Jimmy, throughout this wedding planning process, you kept asking me how you can help, and I was supposed to be asking that to you. It's just apparent that, you guys are both just very, very considerate people, and you serve the Lord with your whole heart. Now you get the opportunity to serve each other as husband and wife, and so I think you guys are on the right track. I'm really excited to see what your marriage brings about.
I didn't put anything down, so we'll see how this goes. So I remember when I first met Jimmy, we were both interns at the NAU Police Department. He was out there, he was directing traffic left and right, and I saw him, I'm like, man, I want to go into criminal justice. Let me figure out how he ended up getting that job, get some experience. And me and my infinite wisdom, while he was directing traffic, just yelled at him from the sidewalk, hey, how'd you get that job? And Jimmy just looked at me kind of he's like, I applied. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So the rest of the day, I ended up joining and becoming Jimmy's co-vocal, and I thought it was really cool and awesomely lit at the time that Jimmy always talked about God and always talked about going to church. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And one thing I always I was like, yeah, this guy's pretty cool. And then after some things happened in my life, and I started hearing the call of God to go to church, there was no one else I would think of going to church with. So I was like, this is God. Obviously he loves God, he knows the Lord, so I'm gonna ask him to go. And Jimmy was my gateway to coming into the church. And after I came in, he was always willing to just help guide me, be a friend, and help me understand because I didn't know what I was doing at all. So, but he was always patient, he was always kind, and he was always doing to help me understand things as a forerunner and always push me forward, especially when I didn't want to go forward. He was always just kind of pulling it all. So Jimmy, I really appreciate it. Shelby, you've always been there to reach out a helping hand for me and a hand of friendship, even when I didn't want it. I appreciate it. I'm happy to smoke with you.
So, like a lot of guys in this room, I've been one of Jimmy's roommates for the last few years. It's kind of a common theme. But I've got the honor and privilege of sharing a room with him for the last 3 years with 2 dogs. So you can imagine the stories I have with that. We'll get into that later. But when I first came around the church, I remember I got invited to a Sunday service after meeting a guy on campus, and I'm like, man, what is this cult leader trying to get me into? There's 2 reasons that made me think, wow, this really isn't a cult. And it was my first day. Jimmy and Shelby were the first 2 people to introduce themselves to me, say hi, ask me how I'm doing, and like a lot of people in this room, it was that day where I was like, man, they make a really good couple. And it took a few weeks for me to be like, oh, never mind. And then a week later, similar to Jordan, me and Shelby also had a clash in midfield in an ultimate frisbee game. And I make fun of her a lot about that, about how she almost scared me out of the church. But really, what that made me realize, though, is that this isn't some weird place. This is a family here. And that's one of my favorite moments looking back on now. As far as sharing a room with Jimmy for 3 years with 2 dogs. There's nothing scarier than at about 1 a.m. hearing a dog throw up in the middle of the night, and you race out of bed, and I slam the door open, and Jimmy grabs the dog and throws him on the balcony, trying to save our carpet. Just the bond that him and I have been able to share over the past few years has been amazing, and kind of like Christian said, I moved into the house a couple months after these guys, because I had to break a different lease, and when I first moved in, same realization. I'm like, man, Jimmy is really the mom. You guys really don't do anything, do you? He washed the dishes, he took out the trash, he vacuumed, he swept it. I'm like, how have you guys functioned? Because of Jimmy. It was from that point forward where we kind of had the realization, all right, let's figure something out. Let's get something going. It's not all about Jimmy. But like so many have already said, that really goes to show just his heart of service and serving other people, and just how great of a husband he's going to make. I can't speak to the volumes of just how much you've helped me over the years, how much you've helped everybody in our house. You've really been the glue that held our house together. And then just one last story with the whole sharing a room with you. There's nothing like having a busy week, trying to go to bed by 11 o'clock at night, and I got my head under my pillow because Jimmy and Taylor are playing Call of Duty at midnight, and Jimmy's screaming at a 12-year-old telling him that he's giving him the skibbity paps. I got an exam in the morning, I got work, I got something going on. But I always was skibbity paps. Yeah, but I was always like, none of it mattered because I just knew that just how happy he was. I remember when he first made me stay up late because he had an announcement to tell, it was, I believe, me and Christian. And I was like, oh gosh, what can it be? It was like 11 o'clock before he got home, I'm trying to go to bed. And he goes, me and Shelby decided to start dating. And I was like, well, it's about time. You made me stay up till 11 o'clock for that? But, and I hate saying that because it brought me so much joy in the moment, because it was like, man, I've been waiting for this for years. And just the happiness that I've seen on both of you guys over the past months is just amazing. And I just can't wait to see what happens over the next years that I'm around you guys. I can't thank you enough for letting me be a part of the day. So, thank you guys.
Let's
let's see if I can get through this without crying. But like how everyone said, you guys are just such a blessing to everyone that you meet. It's just always a fun time with you guys. I mean, to the first time I think I met, well, both of you, it was always like, oh wow, that's a fun person. Like, you know, I was whatever, 12 years old or something. So, no, like, I was like, wow, Jimmy's just like the fun guy. I want to be just like him when I grow up. I think I told that to Jimmy, he was like, what? You said that? So it was definitely a little bit disconcerting to him, but I definitely remember the first time I met Shelby, I think I was dissing on, what was it, fanny packs? And I think I really offended Shelby. But I went after it, and then I was like, oh, she likes fanny packs. Oh no, but I was scared for my life. Little did I know that, like, you would be like a sister to my sisters, and it was just the greatest.
Not to you though.
In our time of when our parents were gone with Anna, it was just always so comforting to know that like my sisters had someone that they could go to, and it was just no, it was definitely something I was like, oh, should I be doing anything? And I was like, oh no, Shelby's got this. No, she's got this in the bag, and it was just so good to see. You guys just grow closer together and also help them mature a little bit more. So that was nice to see. And Jimmy, you were like the older brother that I never had during that time, and you were just such an encouraging person. I mean, we ran that marathon together, and it was just like a lot. It was very difficult, but we got through it. And it just really showed me just how dependable you are, how just faithful you are with everything that you do. Let's see. What else do I have? Here's a funny thing. So when we were done with our marathon, you know, Jimmy started to hang around a lot more, and I was like, what's this? I don't think he's here for me. Definitely don't. I was like, we ran our marathon, we're done with that. And then I was like, alarm bells were just ringing my head. I was like, I have 2 younger sisters now. It's not good. And then we were just talking. I was, you know, just eagle eyes all the time. And then one time we were like setting up for a party where we're getting together a movie night, and you go, oh, we can't forget Shelby. And I was like, ding. The person who I argue with to fight for my laundry day. Okay, right. So that's okay. We're good. But no, it's really just so great. Like how everyone said, how you're both so conscientious about how others are doing and what their heart condition is. It's really just a testimony to me of just how to live my life. And I'm just so grateful for both of you for what you've done for me and my family. It's just really a great testimony to me, and just thank you so much for who you both are. I can't wait to see what the future is for you too.
Okay. So I met Shelby in I don't remember what year it was, but no, it was 2018. She stopped me on campus, and I remember not wanting to stop, but I was like, oh, she's pretty, I'll stop. And I think I like left one headphone in, and she kind of just shared the gospel to me, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then she was like, can I have your number? And I was like, sure. And so then that was it. I left, I went back to my dorm, went back to my life, and I was down in Tucson for, I think it was Thanksgiving, and it was on the weekend, like after Thanksgiving, and she called me, and I was at my grandma's house, and I was like, oh, I think I know who this is, and I didn't call you, or I didn't answer because I was at my grandma's house, and then I called you back on like Monday or Tuesday, and Shelby didn't answer, and then she just texted me and goes, hey, what's up, I missed your call, and I was like, I'm calling you back. And then she texts and is like, do you want to meet up for a Bible study? And I was like, sure. And we met up that day, and I remember walking down not knowing what to do in a Bible study, and
And in that Bible study, Shelby's the one who led me to the Lord. And without that, I wouldn't be here. So thank you. But also through that, you just became my friend. And you were just so sweet. And I loved getting to hang out with you all the time. On church on Sunday, I'd always text you and be like, can you save me a spot? Because I want to sit next to you. And you know, you always did because it's your job. Which But, I mean, I was just so young, and you were young too. We just got to, like, learn a lot of stuff about the Lord together, which was so fun. And then I left for a year, which feels like a stop in time, because when I came back, we just picked up where we left off. It was like no time had passed. And then I got to see you just grow as a campus minister and as an evangelist, just leading other girls to the Lord, just like you had with me. It was just such an honor. And then I just wanted to be around you all the time, and I was like, man, she's the coolest person. She's a campus minister. I wish that's what I was doing. And little did I know that that's what God called me to do. And then Shelby, I became a campus minister, and then Shelby got to train me to lead other girls to the Lord. And I just got to be there for a lot of Shelby's milestones, which was really fun. I remember when she called me to tell me that she started dating Jimmy. She just texted me. She was like, "Hey, are you free today?" I was like, "Yeah." We set up like an appointment. It was super like, why don't you just call me? And I answered the phone, and she's like, "So, Jimmy and I started dating," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense." Of all the people to be with Shelby, it just would make so much sense that it was Jimmy. And then I came back, and I got to see them just like be together. I like to say that I was the other third wheel. Julie and I would tag team the third wheel. And it was just so much fun. I didn't have to do anything. You guys just took care of everything. And then I remember Jimmy, he texted me one morning and he was like, "Hey, can I call you?" And I was like, "Well, they're getting engaged. Why else would Jimmy call me?" And so he calls me, he tells me the plan, and it was just so fun that I got to be there for that. And I got to, scream when you guys got engaged. And so it's just been so fun just seeing you grow in every area as a campus minister, dating, getting engaged, and now I get to be there and see you get married, and I get to see you grow as a wife, and then one day as a mom. And so, yeah, I love you, Shelby.
Just wanted to share a few things on behalf of Michelle and I concerning both Jimmy and Shelby. We've known them a long, long time. I'm too unrestrained in how I talk to Jimmy. Like, I'll tell him pretty much anything. Like, we'll talk sports, we'll talk politics. I'll try to share, like, if it's my opinion versus just it's actually, like, a fact or whatever. And so, and they've worked alongside, they've been in covenant groups that we've taught and worked alongside us in ministry for many years. And what the Lord put on my heart to share is just concerning their future. They were at our house about a week or two ago, and we were just having dinner and talking about, marriage and things like that. And one of the things I mentioned to them is I said, I think, you got to realize every marriage, there's something new that's created, that's displayed between both people coming together. And I know that you guys are going to demonstrate the power of God through your union, through your marriage. And the Lord actually put some verses on my heart for tonight concerning that. In fact, we were on the way over here, And our son Tim was praying, because we pray for the wedding and
Pray
great.
for you.
The head usher, Jordan, and all the and so in the middle of all intercession and prophetic warfare for Jordan, Tim just was praying for the wedding and the rehearsal dinner, and he goes, Lord, I thank you for what you do in creating a new generation. And there's a great generational legacy that both of you have on both sides of your family. Strong Christian heritage. I spent like 30 minutes just talking to Dana and Cynthia about going back like 100 years of Christian history with their family. And Psalms 33:11 says that the counsel of the Lord stands forever, that the plans of his heart are from generation to generation. And there's people in heaven that know who you are. And some of them, they're your ancestors. And there's a tremendous generational legacy. And the other verses God gave me just to share, in Ecclesiastes 7:18, it says, when you have something old that's good and you bring it together with something new, the person that can hold on to the old thing with the new thing, that's the person that fears God. And I really believe that you're going to take your heritage and it's going to become an inheritance for you. And there's a similar verse, Luke 13:52, that says when Jesus is talking about when someone from the old covenant era, a scribe, gets born again, they become like a head of household. They bring out their treasure, things both old and new. And you're going to bring things from generations past, from your generational legacy, into the present, and you're going to step into the next step of that legacy. And I really believe the Lord's saying you're a link in a chain that's significant far beyond just your generation. It goes before you and it's going to continue after you. And so I really want to honor you. I don't really know anyone like the two of you. I really think you have a very strong, unique call of God. And Michelle and I are very excited to see that develop and unfold over the years. So.
So I have to go after that. I don't have any Bible verses. Let's just put that out there. Let's just see here. My best Shelby story is Shelby comes to stay with us during COVID, 3 days at a time, and then she'd go back to the infection, and then she'd come back, and then Mike goes, listen, you have to you stay or you go. She goes, I can stay. And he goes, yeah, but if you stay, you can't leave. Because, there are like rules.
Yeah.
So she stayed. She just became somehow stayed. But the best was, so then she stayed, and we'd have staff meetings over Zoom. And so one day I walk into the dining room, and she's sitting at the dining table drinking coffee, reading her Bible. Mike's at the dining table drinking coffee, and I walk in and I look at both of them. And Shelby, sorry, I'm just gonna call you out. She did COVID bangs, okay? Listen, it was a rough time for everyone. And Shelby's bangs, and I don't know if you've ever seen, most people don't see my first thing in the morning. Listen, this is a lot of gel. So his hair sticks straight up in the morning. And Shelby's bangs were at an angle that were, I don't even, I can show you later. I don't have it on my phone. I wish I could put it on the screen. But the monkey that people send, like, are you doing okay? The monkey with the hair. And I look at both of them and I go, don't you guys have a staff Zoom meeting in like 5 minutes? And they go, yeah, why? And I was like, has anyone looked in the mirror? So anyways, Shelby definitely, I will say, mirrors, it's just a very precious relationship that I have with her, only because she's very similar to Mike.
And so I have an affinity for people with hair that sticks up. It has very artistic and absolutely out of the box ideas. And
Time bandit.
which you might agree on. Yeah, that's enough. But Shelby, I just want to say that there is a verse that I think encapsulates exactly what you mean to our family. And it is, a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. And I'm sorry to say, you are Michael's brother.
There we go.
That's right. But you became a friend to our daughters when they were just reaching into like maturity, going to community college, becoming teenagers, etc. You matched our feral youngest daughter's energy with the utmost energy and enthusiasm and excitement that there's no way I could do. Like, there's just no way. Like, she was out of this world. Like, and you're the only one that could do it. Like, you want to do this on the trampoline? But just watching you help our children mature, especially our girls, mature into non-homeschooled individuals. Teaching them the ways of the world. Was an absolute delight, and knowing, I think I will say exactly what Michael said. Knowing that you were at our house when we were not here was a security for us that, I mean, not that it would go great, but you were just in charge. At least point to someone. Shelby's there. No, seriously, you are a delight. You are all the things that everyone has said, and we love you, and you are our daughter. Like, there's nothing else to say. Like, you are a part of our family, and no matter what Michael says, you are a sister to all of us. And we love you, and we are so thankful for you.
Well, these kids got a big day tomorrow. I want to give you guys an opportunity to share. I just, let's give you some stats. In the last semester and this semester, the combined efforts of Jimmy and Shelby, they have led 17 people to the Lord. Wow. That's an average basically that's every 2 weeks. And many of the people that have shared tonight are the fruit of your evangelism, fruit of your ministry. And, I just want to say how, what wonderful families you both have come from. Greg and Nicole, and Dana and Cindy, you guys have done a great job. And Dacia and I we're deeply knit and deeply appreciative of what you've done in your children's lives. And thank you, Dana, for the dinner tonight. And thank you for what you've shared, Greg as well. And we're just really grateful. We see a lot of people come and go. We see a lot of young people come and go. But then we see some stay. And those that stick around and grow into the people that Jimmy you are and Shelby you are, such a joy, and we're deeply appreciative of your guys' presence in our families' lives. And I really want to hand it off to you guys now, whatever you would like to share in closing.
I'm all cried out. I have no more tears. So, each one of you guys, obviously, like you said, Mike started with my parents, mom, dad, Greg, and Nicole. You guys have played such a big role in our lives. First and foremost, teaching us at a young age about Jesus. Where we wouldn't be here without that, with you guys sowing into our lives from a young age. And I know both of us are so thankful for all the sacrifices that you guys have made for us to grow, for us to have lives, for us to get here to college, and we wouldn't be here without you. And just for all of you who are serving tomorrow, I couldn't be more thankful. Neither of us can. For your guys' sacrifice, your hours on hours spent building tents in a backyard, or throwing out trash, or taking photos, or doing something. Each and every person here that's serving we're deeply indebted to you, and it's more than just that. The hours that you've sowed into our lives, each of you means so much to us. We wouldn't be here without each and every one of you. So we're looking forward to tomorrow, and I thank you for each and every one of you guys. Wouldn't be here without you. So.
All right, well, we'll see you. Some of you know when to be here, I hope, tomorrow morning. If you have questions, ask Jordan.